In a week in which 2021 expansion side Austin FC named Josh Wolf as their first ever head coach, it was the usual mix of excitement and unpredictability on the field that we've come to expect in MLS. We begin our look back with the champions and the pretenders to their throne.
The runaway leaders in the Supporters' Shield standings, LAFC's charge in just their second ever season is a path successfully trodden by opponents Atlanta United. The Californians, though, needed to pick themselves up quickly from last week's derby disappointment if they were to overcome a team who are now starting to find their identity under Frank de Boer. Commentary comes from Dave Farah.
Early free kick then for Atlanta. It's a good run from Escobar. Knocks it back, and this is Adams! Mo Adams on his first start for his new club. Shock lead for Atlanta. Nicely worked and very well finished. Here's Kay. Starting maybe to find their stride here, LAFC. It's taken them a while. And Kay now for Diamande! It took over half an hour, but LAFC are level, just onside. Really good finish. Into the path of Vela from Diego Rossi. And back it falls for Rossi! And they're in front. And it seemed inevitable. It's Miles Robinson who couldn't do much with the clearance. Rossi did the rest. Touched in for Vela. Trying to hold his run there was Rossi. Vela has kept going here. Robinson with the challenge, and Escobar as well. Ismail Elfas says penalty. Well, it might have been worth a look. Vela steps up, moment of fortune maybe for LAFC, and he takes full advantage. They've turned it round in the blink of an eye. Just can't keep hold of the ball at the moment, Atlanta. This is Kay. What about that for versatility? Wonderful pass on his left foot. Here's Vela. Rolling it in for Diamande. Dangerous moments again, these for Atlanta. Atuesta! 4 goals in 12 minutes. It's a stunning display from LAFC. Looking for Martinez. They'd love to pull something back before half-time. And Joseph Martinez has given them hope. The home team switched off. Wrestles past for Martinez. It's a bright start this from Atlanta to the second half. Here's Justin Merrim, and Segura turns it into his own net. And now there's only a goal in it, and Bob Bradley can't believe it. Merrim kept his cool here, and Segura, quite frankly, didn't. This feels like the tone of the game has changed completely, and Gressel now for Martinez, and can he finish? Martinez! Well, he tried one of those spinning finishes that could work so well for him, but he got this one wrong. It's a massive chance to make it 4-4. There's Nagby. Into the path again of Justin Merrim. Making hay down that left-hand side, and it falls for Emerson Hyndman. Just a touch, I think, from Jordan Harvey. Blessing. Crossing, looking for Walker Zimmerman. Atlanta just hanging on. Guzan did well. Now Barco does well to keep his feet. Cross in and it falls to Gressel. Sensational from Harvey, it was his initial mistake. But he recovered to make the block. LAFC hang on for the win.
Great win. We made it crazy at times. And there's parts in there that we're not too happy about. So it's a mix of all those different things, but still a very good win.
In Portland, LAFC's cross-city rivals the Galaxy hope Zlatan Ibrahimovic could inspire another victory following his hat-trick in the derby. But the Timbers looked undaunted and took the lead when Christian Paredes was first to a cross from Jorge Moreira. Another uphill task ahead for the LA Galaxy, who responded brilliantly to falling behind in El Tráfico, and Steve Clark had to be sharp to stop Zlatan from putting the visitors straight back on level terms. Portland themselves were soon on the offensive again. Released by Sebastian Blanco, Diego Valeri had the space and time to assess his options, but didn't need any help. That superb solo goal sending the home side into the break in control. They'd be thankful, though, that goalkeeper Clark was on top form, thwarting Uriel Antuna with arguably the most impressive of his 6 saves. The Galaxy's prospects of a fight-back were killed off in eye-catching style by Paredes. The Paraguayan on the scoresheet twice in a match in MLS for the first time, as their opponents unravelled completely in the closing 10 minutes. When Efrain Alvarez hammered the ball at the pro Marvin Loria, referee Alan Chapman took a dim view, reaching immediately for the red card. And there was still time for the Timbers to strike again. From Jorge Villafaña's looping centre, Jeremy Abomasi's header moved the margin of success onto 4. The same scoreline these two clubs came up with in their US Open Cup meeting last month. A setback for the LA Galaxy's pursuit of the Western Conference frontrunners, while Portland are enjoying a good spell as they break into the playoff positions. 4 wins in a 6-match unbeaten league run. The only sour note was seeing Dairon Asprilla dismissed along with the Galaxy's Diego Polenta for a confrontation that continued after the final whistle. Certainly not enough to spoil Portland's night.
The Seattle Sounders made one small step backwards last weekend when they lost at home against Portland, and they were keen to make amends at a Houston Dynamo side who are normally so reliable at home. The Sounders might have gone in front as the game approached half-time, Harry Shipp blazing wide from Christian Roldan's cross. Houston bared their teeth soon after that miss. Adam Lundqvist with an excellent ball in, and Mauro Manotas failing to keep his lunging effort on target. Seattle were without their spearhead, Raul Ruidiaz, and so more responsibility than usual fell on the shoulders of Nicolas Ladero and Jordan Morris. They tried to make something happen in a scrappy game, but the angle eventually defeated Morris. Just before the hour, though, Morris would turn out to be the match winner. Shipp's seemingly routine ball in led to chaos inside the Houston penalty area, and somehow, after a brief juggle and astute picking of his spot, Morris squeezed the ball inside the far post. A priceless moment as the Sounders banish memories of last week and left with all 3 points.
Fans of the San Jose Earthquakes are having a summer to remember, their team seeking a 4th successive victory when they took on the Colorado Rapids. The feeling that everything's dropping into place for the Quakes right now increased when the stopwatch had only just ticked beyond the 1-minute mark. Lalas Abubakar could only turn Christian Espinosa's cross into his own net, the Argentinian happy to accept the congratulations. Nothing fortunate, though, about the way the Californians extended their lead. Fabulous footwork from Vaco, and a finish to match from a player who's now netted 6 in his last 7 league appearances. Colorado in need of a boost, but the club who'd won just once on their travels all season may have sensed this was becoming an all too familiar story when Diego Rubio was denied by Daniel Vega. At least they avoided any more damage until the final 10 minutes, with Espinosa really unlucky not to make his mark on the match. As it stood, the Quakes were falling behind the high-scoring tally set in their last 2 outings. Matias Almeida's men managed 3 goals in both of those, and Shea Salinas in particular seemed determined to extend that streak keen to take on all comers. The club's 8th win in the last 11 matches, definitely in the bag now, and achieved with a flourish. They'll be annoyed, though, to have let a clean sheet slip away. Colorado's sole consolation, a neat turn and heavily deflected shot from Diego Rubio. While their campaign is proving to be a struggle, the San Jose Earthquakes continued their charge up the table.
The Vancouver Whitecaps hadn't picked up a point since June the 26th, and a sellout crowd in Minnesota watched their team start as they most certainly meant to go on. A Darwin Quintero shot blocked, and Ethan Finley follow-up curling just wide. The Caps very nearly grabbed a surprise lead 19 minutes in. Ali Adnan's free kick sliced dangerously towards his own goal by Angelo Rodriguez, the crossbar saving the Loons. Minnesota had the most of it, though, and as the game approached half-time, Vancouver was starting to look a little stretched. Rodriguez seized on Finley's deflected shot, ran in on the angle, and very nearly embarrassed the Caps. Maxime Crepeau saved by his near post. Adrian Heath's team continued to dominate, but were starting to run out of time. Inside the final 20 minutes, a knockdown fell to the youngster Mason Toye, and he failed to fire home his 5th league goal of the season. The Loons continued to create chances as the clock started to run out. Ike Opara with the back header that struck the bar before Miguel Ibarra's effort flew just over. It was turning into one of those nights for Minnesota, and with 30 seconds left, they managed to create one final chance. A floated cross, and Darwin Quintero failing to apply a decisive touch. Goalless and hugely frustrating for the home side.
Two clubs just above the playoff line met at Toyota Stadium, where this fun guy and his fellow FC Dallas fans hadn't seen their favourites beaten in the league since early May. But it was Real Salt Lake who very nearly held a half-time advantage. Jesse Gonzalez reacting brilliantly to parry that powerful header from Marcelo Silva. The goalkeeper had to be on his toes again after the break, fisting away Matt Hedges' wayward header before making himself big to leave Corey Baird still waiting for his 2nd goal of the season. A strong showing from RSL, even with coach Mike Petke absent from the touchline through suspension. But FC Dallas began to step up their efforts. Santiago Mosquera unable to make the most of a blistering break as Jesus Ferreira cut a frustrated figure at the far post. Soon after, Michael Barrios set off down the opposite wing, but once inside the box, went aground far too easily for the officials' liking. To defender Donny Toye's relief, no penalty given in a game that ended goalless. What has been the problem with SKC?
We haven't really got the consistency going this year.
And the nightmare continues.
We need to be realistic with where we're at, and there has to be some urgency within the group.
The dominant start is spoiled by one big mistake.
Was there an answer to their woes?
Score your chances, don't give up soft goals.
Could they do just that against NYCFC? Your commentators are Adam Virgo and Dan Roebuck.
And it comes, and the header brilliantly saved by Melia. An acrobatic stop here as NYCFC on the counter. Now it's Morales. Queuing up, far post, glancing header wide. Managed to get on the end of that, was it Sands? You can see there's some pushing and shoving between Sporting Kansas City players here.
It's not good to see that, is it? Sinovic and Harbour.
Matarrita left, Tinahome wanted it other flank, Matarrita still has it. Ring, Mitriza, Ring will go again, must be, and is! Tinahome coming in round the back, finishing off a quite superb move for New York City FC.
Little give and go on the edge of the box from Matarrita. Then puts it back into Ring, that allows the cross in for Tinahome. It's a really well taken goal from the home side.
Hebert might be in here though. This is Hebert for another! Delightfully done! Super finish. Clinical. Michael in front of goal.
Oh, he's had to wait patiently throughout this game, Hebert, for this chance. It's the one finish I did. You had to think it over the goal. You couldn't afford to open your body out.
Iniesta Sanchez. Now it's with Espinosa, looking for Gerso. Espinosa goes in again, an awkward clash there, certainly. Shano's gone down, clutching the right knee, and Espinosa has not come out of this particularly well either, I don't think. Two players on the deck.
High foot there from Espinosa, and he certainly catches him.
Well, there we go. It is a red card to Espinosa, and I think he's got that right.
Maybe a big loss now for Sporting KC.
SKC have got a goal back. Sanchez has given the visitors a little bit of hope here.
Fell hard, but they headed the ball back brilliantly. They're giving themselves a chance. That's what makes things interesting now.
And Mackay Stephen looking to use his pace. Now it's with Ring. Oh, that'll do! Super hit. Crisis averted just when SKC were piling on the pressure and looking to get back on terms. Up pops the skipper. New York City FC have their 2-goal advantage once again. New York City FC 3, Sporting Kansas City 1.
Staying in the Big Apple, the New York Red Bulls hosted a Columbus team who hadn't won away from home since early March, but were buoyed by last week's win against Montreal. The Red Bulls looked oddly hesitant early, and a misplaced pass gave Artur the chance to fire in a shot, which beat Luis Robles and bounced back off the post. Caleb Porter's team looked much improved, but they still fell behind 15 minutes in. Brian White's 8th of the season from Mark Shatkowski's cross. The crew responded almost instantly. Jarcy Zardes with the clever header into the path of New Yorker Luis Argudo, who fired home joyously to draw his team level. And Argudo was involved again inside the opening minute of the second half. A fantastically forceful run, which ended with Pedro Santos blasting home to put Columbus in front. As the game approached the hour, the Red Bulls had an opportunity to draw level. Argudo's challenge on Daniel Royer, which on video review was adjudged to have been a foul. Unwise contact, certainly. Royer stepped up himself, and all of the momentum was once again with the home team after a sensational spot kick. His 8th of 8 in his MLS career. There was, though, a twist in the tale and a first home defeat for the Red Bulls since the 8th of May. Zardes with the run and shot, Robles with the save, but Pedro Santos making it a memorable day for him as he slotted home a second goal and confirmed that for the time being at least, the crew are back.
The Montreal Impact welcomed a new face to the fold against Eastern Conference leaders the Philadelphia Union. Lassi Lapalainen signed just 2 days earlier on loan from Bologna, went straight into the lineup and showed an instant understanding with his new teammates. The Finnish international sidestepping Andre Blake to announce his arrival inside the first 4 minutes. The perfect start for a side who'd lost their last 4 MLS games, with the effect on the Impact's confidence clear to see. By half-time, their high-flying opponents were reeling. A ferocious strike from Orji Okonkwo, another man on loan from Bologna. Bad memories flooding back for the Union, who went down 4-0 in their last away fixture. Kacper Shibilko couldn't have gone closer to putting Jim Curtin's team back in contention. But if the coach hoped the half-time breather would give his players a chance to pull themselves together, he was badly mistaken. Another flying start from Montreal saw Lapalainen make the lead even more comfortable as he continued to savour a stunning debut. The leaders had no option but to go for broke in their bid to launch an unlikely recovery, leaving them vulnerable at the back. And Okonkwo had the pace to punish them driving forward en route to his 6th goal of the campaign. Another 4-0 humbling for the Union, whose current inconsistency could soon have them tumbling off the top.
Neither the Chicago Fire nor DC United are in particularly good form at the moment, and so a win was paramount for both as they came together at SeatGeek Stadium. The Fire have won only once since May the 11th, and they were the early aggressors here. Przemysław Frankowski choosing to cross when he might have shot, and the early opportunity wasted. Chicago continued to push, and when Nicolas Gaitan's floated free kick caused panic in the DC defence, the home team nearly got the lead. Johan Kappelhoff couldn't force it home, and CJ Sapong's follow-up was high and wild. It was a curious performance from a DC United side who themselves had only 2 MLS wins in their last 11. Donovan Pines gave the ball away here, and Brant Bronico in the end was the player denied by Bill Hamid. The visitors threatened briefly when Wayne Rooney curved in a free kick that was comfortably pushed away by Kenneth Kronholm, but that was the best of their attacking play, and it was left to the Fire to try and win it late. A measured, precise build-up leading to Dax McCarty having the chance to grab a dramatic winner. The shot was deflected away, and with that went Chicago's chances. A draw that was unsatisfactory to both teams.
The New England Revolution have fast become a force to be reckoned with under Bruce Arena. So this was a tough trip for Orlando City, which became even more daunting in just the 3rd minute. Gustavo Bo trading passes with Edgar Castillo, then tucking away the 2nd goal of his 3 MLS appearances so far. The Revs were made to wait until the 2nd half for another breakthrough. Christian Pania slotting the ball past Brian Rowe to put his team firmly on track to equal the club record of 11 MLS matches unbeaten. On current form, they hardly required a helping hand, but shortly before the hour mark, got one anyway, when Bo's half volley hit Sebastian Mendes on the arm. Video review confirmed the offence, giving Carlos Hill the opportunity to score for the 4th game running and put the Revs out of reach. This was turning into the ideal warm-up for their next appointment, a visit from pace setters LAFC. And with one of his first touches after coming off the bench, Diego Fagundes underlined the threat the leaders will face. The Uruguayan's thunderbolt, one of the goals of the season, and well worth a second look. Still time for the Lions to conjure up a fine goal of their own. This one very much a team effort, rounded off by Tesho Akindele. The first time in 3 outings the Revs had even conceded. That's 7 wins from 11. LAFC beware.
To our final game, and a struggling Cincinnati headed to Canada to face a Toronto team who were eager to banish the memory of last week's home defeat by Houston. They duly went in front 16 minutes in. A towering header by Omar Gonzalez, guided in by Nick De Leon. The home team were running riot in the early stages, and Cincinnati were clinging on. Przemysław Titon with the save from Jacob Schaffelberg. The visitors seemed to gain some confidence in the 2nd half, and with Toronto only leading by a single goal, suddenly there was hope. Caleb Stanko denied by Quentin Westberg. That hope, though, lasted all of 5 minutes. A 4th goal in 4 from Josie Altidore, and what a goal. Simply picture perfect. Cincinnati kept fighting and pulled a goal back with over half an hour remaining. Emmanuel Ledesma lashing home convincingly. But they couldn't find an equaliser, and that's now 3 defeats in a row after their mini revival.
Toronto stayed just below the playoff line in the East despite that win, a point behind the rejuvenated Revs. It's as you were at the top, but the New York club swapped places with NYCFC's win over SKC, taking them up to 4th.
In the West, LAFC have extended their lead at the top to 11 points, and Seattle moved behind them into 2nd after winning in Houston. Following their resounding victory over the LA Galaxy, Portland now find themselves in the playoff positions.
We leave you with the quartet of teams who smashed in a formidable 4.
And now it's out to Resta, and shot is a goal! Fagundes on course, a shot!
This copyrighted telecast of Major League Soccer may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of Major League Soccer.